when you improve your relationship with your sensuality, sexuality, heal your trauma and your relationship with money, wind it all together, this isn't just going to mean that you have better sex in the bedroom. It's going to mean that you have a better job, that you make more money, that you have better relationships, that you have a better relationship with food.
Hello and welcome to the Feminine as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Monica Yates, a period and ICF certified women's life coach, and I help women to harness the power of their period and connect to their feminine flow. In these episodes, we'll be talking about all things periods, hormones, confidence, health, food, money, sex, business, feminine flow, your brain, energy, and all the stuff that goes through our heads. You will walk away from each episode with new chicken nuggets and truth bombs, as I don't have a filter and I love talking about all the shit that people are thinking but too afraid to say.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm obviously excited to be here as per usual. And today we are talking about sex and money. So this is obviously something that I go deep into in Queen Alchemy, but I wanted to kind of give you guys a bit of an understanding on here of how the two are related, why the two are related, why it's really important to work on both of them, just kind of all that jazz. So first thing, how are the topics of money and sex related, and like how about money and love, all that kind of stuff. So I want to kind of, firstly, when I say sex, I don't just mean like P-in-V intercourse sex. It's actually more about sexual energy. And it's about sensuality. So the energy of money and the energy of sex, so sexual energy, they sit in the same lower chakras in your body. So often it will be definitely the root chakra, which is a lot of safety stuff, right? You got to feel safe in sex, got to feel safe with money. That's obviously pretty obvious. And then your sacral chakra, all about your feminine energy, your womb, like creativity, creation, reproduction, all that kind of stuff. And then it can even also sit in your solar plexus, which is all about personal power. You know, you could obviously relate it also to your throat chakra if you wanted to, but those base three chakras, they really sit in. And money and sex, they're both taboo. And so they can both have this feeling around them of unsafety, not being safe to explore, not being safe to talk free about, not being safe to learn about. For some of you, it could actually just be so fucking triggering to even like join Queen Alchemy, because like, why would you join something that's like all about sex and money? Like that seems like something where it's not a priority. You don't need to spend your money on that, but actually it is a priority because sex is life. In terms of your sexual energy is your life force energy, and the energy of money is also part of that. So they are really important topics to actually be fucking nailing. Like, good luck having an amazing life if you don't have a good relationship with sex and your sexuality and a good relationship with money. Money and love, obviously. So when I talk about that, I'm talking about like being open to receiving, being like giving freely, receiving freely, and it always comes back to like the belief and knowing and being anchored in the belief and the understanding that like there is plenty to go around. I have plenty. I am in an overflow. I can always access more sexual energy, more abundance, more love, more creativity, more happiness, and that kind of stuff. Like this shit doesn't run out. There is no running out of sexual energy. There is no running out of the energy of money. So your sexual energy is also your life force energy, and it's also the energy of money. So when I say life force energy, also called chi energy, in traditional Chinese medicine. So life force energy is like your energy, as in like, I'm tired, I'm energized today, that kind of stuff. So if you've got really low sexual energy, also some people could say I have low libido. Generally, you'll also find that you don't have very high energy, life force energy, and you'll also have some sort of shame and issues around money. Now, for some of you might think, nope, I'm totally fine with money. I've got plenty in the bank. Okay, I don't want you to just think about how much you have in the bank. I want you to think about how you feel when you go to spend money. Do you allow yourself to buy the more expensive rag and bone jeans, or do you go to like Target and buy cheap jeans there? Not because you want the Target jeans, but because you actually are like, no, I shouldn't buy the expensive jeans. So it really comes down to this element of like worthiness and actually being like asking for yourself and receiving for yourself what you actually want. So like in sex, do you ask for what you want? Do you say, I want you to do this to me? I want this. I want to do this to you. Do you share your deepest, darkest desires? Like something that I get my clients sometimes do is like to be really honest with themselves. I take them through a process and then I ask them to be really honest with themselves and like what is something that they're actually fucking craving that they're afraid to admit. And a lot of women, it's something along the lines of being heavily dominated and ravished by a man if they're in a same-sex relationship, or they are really desiring certain things, and it might not even be about that. It could be something different. I take them through all these different questions, and often these amazing things will come up, and my clients will be like, whoa, I didn't even realize that was a thing. Like, I didn't realize I actually really fucking craved that and needed that. And it's because you went deep into their body, into their subconscious, into their soul. And so many of us don't even know that we're deprived. Like, you might be listening to this and being like, no, I have sex, I'm fine. But there is a difference between having sex and then having soul nourishing, overflowing, fill me up to the fucking brim, make me explode with life force energy sex. Completely different. And that's what I want you all to be having. And that kind of energy you can have with yourself. That kind of energy you can get from food. You could get from Pilates. You could get from your work. And that's what I'm sharing with you guys in Queen Alchemy, of like not just having great sex, but having a life that is turned on, having pleasure whilst you're having a shower, whilst you're doing the dishes, whilst you're getting dressed or cleaning up after your kids, because there is no point just having good sex. I want us to be having a good life. And if you can be having this, if you can be transmuting this sexual energy like medicine through every area of your life, just think of the vibration that you're going to be in if you are constantly in this like turned on vibe in your life. And that's what I want all of you to be in, both men and women, right? So even if you're a man listening to this, or if you want to share this with your partner, this isn't just women, it's also men. And something that's really important is a lot of women aren't, they're not walking around at like 70% full of life, and therefore to get to 100% orgasm, which is orgasm, it's only 30%. A lot of women are walking around at 30%, so they have to kind of jump 70%, if this makes sense, in bed to have an orgasm. And that's like putting a lot of pressure on themselves as well, and also just like not as amazing, right? But imagine, and there's always days where that's going to be the case and blah, blah, whatever. But imagine if you are walking around at 70% of that, like you're at 70% and 100% is orgasm, right? So you're walking around at 70%, like how full of life you would feel. Imagine the things that would come into your life. Imagine the dreams that you would aspire to have. Imagine the people that you'd bring into your life. Imagine the things that you would attract because you're at that frequency. So this isn't just about sex, ladies. This is honestly about like you actually knowing that you're worthy of the dream life that you want to be having. You're worthy of the travel, you're worthy of the man, you're worthy of the woman, you're worthy of the kids, you're worthy of the house, the money, the career, all of that stuff. And when you improve your relationship with your sensuality, sexuality, heal your trauma, and your relationship with money, wind it all together, this isn't just going to mean that you have better sex in the bedroom. It's going to mean that you have a better job, that you make more money, that you have better relationships, that you have a better relationship with food, that you have a better relationship with your body. Like any area of your life that you're having a problem with, I can guarantee you it will leak into that in a positive way. So if you've got relationship with food issues, anything like that, it's going to leak into these areas. And I'll do an episode on food stuff because I've been talking a lot about it with my clients last week, and it's been a reoccurring thing. So I will do one on that. But, the main thing with money and with sex is like this feeling of safety, especially in your root chakra. And if you don't feel safe with money, it's a high likelihood that you're also not going to feel safe with sex. And you might say, no, I feel safe to have sex with my boyfriend. But my question is like, you think you can surrender, but can you actually surrender deeper and you can't? Or can you actually do you kind of want to be dominated to a very heavy extent, but you don't fully let yourself trust him, or you don't fully let yourself surrender? Or are you still not asking for all the things that you want because there's shame around that? That's the stuff that we're talking about here, of around safety and around this ability to feel grounded within our own bodies and within our own channels and within our own selves. That's what we're moving into. And the next thing I want to talk about, guys, with sex and money is that I've said safety about the root chakra and how that's really important. The next thing is trust. So for a lot of people, they say like, oh yeah, I want more money, but they actually don't trust themselves with the responsibility of holding that money. Because the thing is actually, and I'll tie this with sex in a second. So with money, people say, yeah, I want a lot more money. But there's actually a deeper underlying fear that blocks them from having more money, of the fear of holding it, of fear that like it's going to disappear, or like I'm going to be responsible for more, and what if I fuck it up? And that kind of belief obviously is going to make money run away from you, or when money comes to you, you're going to fucking fling it in the other direction by generally overspending on stuff. Or manifesting bills and that kind of stuff into your reality. Now, when we talk about sex in this correlation, so a lot of us when we're at school and when we go through like sex ed, we're kind of taught even in society when we're younger of like, if you're horny, masturbate, get rid of it. Like get yourself off. Like when you feel horny, get rid of it. We're not taught in school how to hold sexual energy. We're also not taught how to hold money in a way that feels really good. We're taught how to hoard money in a scarcity way of like save it for the rainy day. So if you, for example, with sex, every time you feel horny, if you are kind of almost like, I've got to masturbate, I gotta get rid of it, you're going to be doing very similar things with money. And the way that you could quote unquote get rid of it is actually to hoard it into a savings account even. You might spend it, or you might actually hoard it into a savings account because you don't even feel comfortable like holding a check for too long, or holding, your next pay slip in one account. You're like, nope, transfer it to saving account, transfer it to saving accounts because then it's safe. Like get rid of it out of my awareness so that it is safe. And with sexual energy, I teach this to my clients of how to hold a lot of sexual energy, because if you can learn how to hold sexual energy in your body, you can transmute it to creative energy, and holy fuck, will you become so effing productive. Like the days where I'm sexting are my most productive days because I have so much sexual energy pulsating through my body, or the days where I've done like breast massage in the morning and I've been dancing around and I'm just feeling so turned on. Those days I will be so productive because I have so much sexual energy pulsating through my body. So you want to actually be holding sexual energy in your body, not releasing it. And if you're like, how? Come to Queen Alchemy, because I'm going to teach you guys in there how to hold on to the sexual energy, because it's really important to learn how to do that sort of stuff. So the trust is really important, the trust within yourself, obviously, and then the trust within your partner. When it comes to sex, is also really important for you to be able to have sex so you can stay grounded and whatnot. And then there's obviously that element of trust with money. And that's why having these spiritual universal practices and also these universal understandings around money is so important, because you'll be able to trust the energy of money. You'll be able to trust the flow of money, and you'll be able to trust the universe with the way that it brings you money. And because money comes through people, but it comes from the universe. So all that sort of stuff is really important, and it's grounded in trust, and then what I was saying before of the safety. So trust and safety are two really key parts. And I do talk about trust and allowing the universe to like be I say this sometimes, letting the universe be your man. And then I talk about it in Magic, Money and Manifestation, my online course about money and manifestation, of like money comes through people from the universe. So it is really important that that you have a connection to the universe. And obviously with you, if you're listening to this, you obviously have a connection to the universe because you're listening to me. It's important that you have those really grounded practices that you're really rooted into, because they will help you through those more fear-based times with money. Okay. Another thing is, obviously I've talked about it in terms of receiving money. You need to be open to receive, and that comes with the feminine energy. Obviously, in order for you to be able to have really amazing sexual energy, you need to learn how to receive. Now, there is obviously, now I will point this out actually, that the more you get into your sexual energy, the more you'll understand your own pleasure, and you'll want to give. You won't want to give because you're concerned about the other person. You'll want to give for your own pleasure. I said this to someone last night of like, sometimes I'm really in the mood to like be dominating towards like men. And he was like, that's hot. And I was like, well, yeah, like sometimes I was like, yeah, but I'm doing it for my own pleasure. And he was like, I know you are. But the point being in there is like, when you get to this place of like, there's no obligation to the other person, but they get so much pleasure because you're having so much pleasure. So this is where it's like being really confident in your sexual energy and your sensual energy and your feminine energy is so beautiful because you end up wanting to please your partner for your own pleasure. You end up want to be pleasing your partner for your own pleasure because you get so much pleasure out of it. And that will happen when you're really, really like locked and loaded into your own sexual energy and your ability to feel deeply. So a lot of us are very tapped out of our senses. We need a lot of stimulation or a lot of pressure, like physical pressure to have sex, or we need hard sex, or vibrators to have orgasms. And that's because we're actually so disconnected and disassociated from our bodies. So once you do the healing work to like basically reignite your pleasure centers in your body and like recode your body for the ultimate pleasure, it becomes so easy to tap into pleasure that you can tap into pleasure from like literally eating amazing food, from sitting on the sofa after a long day, and you can feel that energy through your body. And if you are constantly able to access that, you can see how you don't always need to be in this high vibe mood to experience pleasure. You could experience pleasure even when you are sick or even when you're not feeling super high vibe. And this is actually an important little note. Some people think that in order for you to manifest, you always have to be like crazy high vibe. And if you're having an off day, well, that's it. Your manifestation's going out the fucking window. And that's not true. Like that's absolutely not true, because when you're sick, you don't stop believing in the law of attraction. Well, I hope not. So as long as you're still believing, the truth is still going to remain the truth, and your manifestation and your energy is still going to remain there. No, you might not want to have raging fucking sex when you're sick, but the money will still be flowing, the sexual energy will still be flowing, and you'll just be feeling it in a slightly different way, but it doesn't make it a wrong way. And this is why being adaptable and not having one rigid truth in mind or one rigid idea or reading something from a book and being like, okay, I'll just follow this for the rest of my life. It's why it's really important to be embodying it and be feeling it in your own way. And this is what like I make a really big deal about with my work, is like you need to be feeling it in your own way so that it becomes an integration of your life. It doesn't become like something that you learned and then it becomes a chore. That's not my fucking, I don't want that. I do not, like that is against what I teach. What I teach is like, and what I help you guys to be embodying is to be putting all these feminine practices and these sensual practices and these practices with money and abundance and all that jazz, to be putting all of this energy into the life that you're already living as an integration, not shit added to your to-do list. Because I don't know about you, but I do not have time to add shit to my to-do list. Like if I want to be adding stuff to my to-do list, it's going to be like baths and watching fucking movies. It's not going to be like doing a whole pile of like tantric nerve activation and breast massage, because I don't want to do that stuff. I want to sit down. I want to chill. I want to like disconnect. So I make sure that all of these doing practices are actually integrated into your life, so it becomes so easy that you're not having to make time for it on an average Tuesday afternoon. It becomes part of your shower routine, or it becomes part of, you know, the time when you're like making dinner for the kids. And that's what makes it sustainable. Because also if you're only doing this for a little bit of time and it's not sustainable, then like you're not going to believe that you can keep this up. It's going to be like, oh, I have to do these things in order to get the money, in order to feel really good about my sexual energy. And you can actually feel really good about money and sex all the time. And again, they're taboo topics. And so that's why it's really easy to like not be embodied in this shit. And this is why it's double as important to not just learn this stuff via a podcast or a book, but to embody and to clear shame and to clear energy that's blocking you from having this stuff, because it's your fucking birthright. Like it's your birthright. And then I'll just like wrap up kind of here, but like people ask like, so what does my feminine energy have to do with like money and sex? Well, obviously with the feminine energy is the receiving energy. It's the being energy. It's the captivating, the alluring, the magnetic energy. That's the feminine energy. So if you want to captivate, receive, be magnetic in regards to money, you obviously need to be in your feminine energy to receive, to be alluring in regards to money, to manifest, to be that creator, right? Create money. That's the feminine. To surrender, and then to obviously to magnetize money. And then in terms of your sexual energy, in order for you to be really in your pleasure, you also need to be able to receive your own pleasure. You need to be able to be alluring and magnetic and to have this like aura about you, and to then be okay with receiving the energy back from other people as they are like, damn, she's got a fucking aura. And then because if you got an aura, and then when people like make you aware, they look at you in the street or they pick you up, or like as in like a dude picks you up or whatever, because you're so alluring, if that then makes that, some people that haven't cleared their sexual shame, it would actually shut them down more, because it's like, oh, my sexual energy gets me in trouble. It's dangerous. It's like too much. I need to like diminish it. So that's why doing this work's really important. But like part of then being alluring is like, it's going to, that's being in your feminine, right? And being in your sexual energy, you need to be in your feminine energy at the same time. And you need to be able to receive these, this feedback is what it would be, this feedback from other people in your environment, and not thinking of it as a bad thing. You need to be able to receive the feedback loop from other people in regards to how you hold yourself and carry yourself in this new energy that you've created for yourself. So the feminine energy is vital for you being really in that receivership and in the energy of money, and being able to manifest and having all the abundance, and to really fucking get into that delicious, juicy, feminine, sensual, sexual energy. And also having the boundaries around the money and around the sex and all that kind of stuff. It's really important. And like a queen, and we do a lot of archetype stuff in Queen Alchemy, a lot of archetype stuff. I was actually reading over the content today, and I was like, holy fuck, how do I fit this in 7 weeks? The calls go for like so long because there's so much juice to fit in. It's amazing. So we do a lot of archetype stuff, because the ultimate place to be is that queen archetype, and you need to be fully embodied in all of the other archetypes for you to get to that queen archetype. And the queen has her boundaries. She speaks her truth. Her throat chakra is open. Like if your throat chakra is closed, if you get a frog in your throat, if you struggle to speak your truth, like you're not going to be able to then be calling in the money, because you won't feel like you can say, I want to manifest $10,000, because you got a fucking frog in your throat. Or you won't be able to share what you really want in sex, because you'll be afraid of rejection, or what is he going to say, or asking for too much, or being too needy, or whatever fucking belief that you have in your head that you've made up, or that you've picked up, or that you've perceived from when you were younger. Your throat's going to block you. And so like all this shit's really important. And as a queen, your throat chakra is open, your heart is open, your womb is open. Like you are just ready to fucking receive. And at the same time, I've talked about this many times before, when you're in your really embodied, healthy, feminine, healed energy, part of being in that sexual energy is also knowing I have boundaries. So I will not be taken advantage of. I will not be, I will not get myself in trouble. My sexual energy doesn't cause me trouble, because you've got that energetic boundary as well. Not just saying boundaries, but actually holding yourself in the energy of the boundaries. Like I say this to my clients all the time, of like, you don't always need to say a boundary. You can also have the energy of a boundary, and people subconscious will be able to sense that boundary, and they won't cross that boundary. Lots of boundaries. I am the boundaries bitch. I'm going to leave it there for you guys. I wanted to like do 2 episodes for this week, but like keeping them kind of shorter and snappier, because a lot of us aren't like obviously commuting to work, but we're just like doing some shit around the house. I felt like 20 minutes was like a kind of a good time. So anyway, please make sure that if you haven't already looked at Queen Alchemy, do so, because your time is running out to join. And like, I cannot tell you how fucking good this program is. Like we do so much shit in there. If you scroll down to the bottom of the sales page, the link is in the description, scroll down towards the bottom, you'll actually see what we cover in each week. And like, it just turns me on reading about it. Like it's so fucking good. So have a look at that. Send me any questions via DM or email if you've got any questions about it. There's payment plan options, of course. And I'm being quite flexible with payment options, because everything that's happening with Corona, obviously. So there's options for you. So let's just chat. Let me know what your fears are. And like, this is just the time to be doing it. Like there is not a better time, because ladies, think about it. If you can be feeling the ultimate pleasure right now in your life whilst we're in lockdown in with Corona, imagine the amount of pleasure that you are going to be able to receive when you're out dancing with friends and at bars on the weekend or walking around the park and like going to cafes. Like, holy fuck. And imagine how good it would feel that at the end of this, when you walk out that door to like go be social for the first time, you're not being held back by all of this crap that you're holding on to. Your confidence is at an all-time high. Like, just think of how empowering that will feel for you of like, holy shit, I used those past whatever months to my best ability because I'm walking out of this being my dream self, and I don't have to waste any more time working on my confidence or worrying about my confidence or like worrying about my feminine energy or my sexual energy. You can just go guns fucking blazing and have all the raging sex and be calling in all the money and all that kind of stuff. And the best bit is that you'll already be able to experience that in isolation. So imagine how well you're going to be able to experience outside of isolation, right? Like, let's not fucking waste any more time, because as we've all fucking learnt recently, 1, time is an illusion, and 2, shit can fucking, like, your life can change in an instant. I know mine did. It was like 1 minute I'm in New York living it up, the next minute I'm like, get my fucking self to London and lockdown. So life can change in an instant. So let's make sure that we're living it up. Any questions, send me a DM. And if you do not want to do Queen Alchemy, but you do want to learn about money, then go look at MMM, Magic, Money, and Manifestation. I have level 1 and level 2. Level 2 is coming, probably not, no, won't be out by the time this one's up, but it will be out in the next month. It got a bit delayed because of everything that's happened. So they're like good intro programs, but they are not deep trauma healing. The trauma healing, the childhood wounding, the societal wounding, sisterhood wounding, sexual trauma, all that stuff, you have to be with me live. So Queen Alchemy is the vibe for you, or one-on-one. Although right now I don't have any one-on-one spaces. But you can like send me an email, or we can like put you on the list or whatever. So yeah, look at Queen Alchemy, send me any questions. If you haven't already looked at my website, like, go look at it. It's sexy as fuck. It's new and it's delicious. But yeah, I'm excited for all of you that are joining us. It's going to be so much fun. Oh my God. And we are going to announce the next event very shortly too. So make sure you keep a lookout for that, because hopefully by the time this event's on, I can fly back to Australia and the event will be great. So yeah, I will talk to you all soon. Have a great rest of your day or whatever. Stay high vibe, shake that booty, and thank you for listening.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got lots of chicken nuggets out of today's episode. I would be really, really grateful if you'd be able to leave me a review and a star rating that you think is appropriate, hopefully 5. And if you could share this podcast so that I can help more women live a life of flow and ease, I would be so fucking grateful. Make sure you tag me in it on Instagram so I can personally thank you, because I know so many of my clients have found me literally because their friends have posted about my podcast on their Instagram story. And I just want to help as many women as possible. So by you sharing it, I would be so fucking grateful, and I'm sure your friends would be too. If you do want to work with me, please do check out my website for all those details. And of course, you can DM me on Instagram with any other questions. If you have any podcast things you want me to talk about, any ideas, any feedback, I am always open to it, and I always love hearing what you guys have to say. So please don't hesitate about that either. I will catch you on the flip side. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are.